What's good, guys? Welcome back to Ron's Rise. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another video where here is the Alfa Romeo C43, the new and first real single-seater destined for the 2023 Formula One season from Alfa Romeo F1 team stake. The new Alfa Romeo C43 is the first real single-seater destined for the 2023 Formula season, contrary to what has been put into practice so far by Haas, Red Bull, or Williams, who have only unveiled the livery they will use this year. The Alfa Romeo team has preferred to immediately put the dots on one by introducing the Alfa Romeo C43, a real model, the same one that will be used for filming days and above all test schedules at the test circuit in Bahrain. Now, the novelties that the new single-seater of the Alfa Romeo F1 team stake introduces, well, the new name of the team that brings the Alfa Romeo motive to the track for the last year of the collaboration between Alfa Romeo and the Sauber Group are numerous. At first glance, you'll immediately notice the introduction of a new livery designed by the Alfa Romeo Style Center, which abandons white but keeping the red to focus on the black and carbon at sight. A useful prerogative for gaining some weight on the scales, a condition that had placed last year's C42 at the top of the weight classification, which was among the lightest of the lot. Now, just the livery has already been defined one of the most beautiful on the current grid. However, the Alfa Romeo C43 does not only have a new livery, rather than there are so many innovations imposed by the latest regulatory adjustments and by the development of the first experience with the ground effects single-seater last year. Now, the new C43 therefore appears to be a correct and targeted evolution of last year's single-seater, taking advantage of a well-distributed set of innovations developed by the technical team. Now, the new Italian Swiss single-seater allows us to appreciate some of the certainly interesting innovations from the aerodynamic point of view. The new layout of the bellies is certainly striking, which provides a relocation of the radiators and above all 9 fins on the sidewalk, which act as vortex generators useful for guaranteeing the creation of the so-called pneumatic miniskirt. Now, on the paper, you can see that the new C43 seems to obtain solutions that certainly appear interesting and which could guarantee the team formed on track by Valtteri Bottas and Zhou Guanyu some considerable exploits. Ultimately, as I said, the new C43 appears as a reasoned evolution of the old C42, thus the typical setting of the previous single-seater remains as regards the roll hoop, the blade roll bar, which however had to withstand higher loads, which were readjusted after Zhou's accident at Silverstone last year that really saved his life. However, it must be said that the dynamic intakes always split on the sides of the central blade, and they have a section with a different design compared to the one used last year, as well as the 2 additional inlets placed higher up, which introduce a greater need to guarantee the correct flow of water, air to the magazine, PU Ferrari 0667, and above all, in case of these 2 additional openings, radiator in inclined position. Now, the opening on the side pods derives from the Ferrari. In fact, the new Alfa Romeo C43 introduces vents inspired precisely by the section seasoned by the Maranello manufacturer last year, thus abandoning the large openings seen on last year's C42. Now, this way, the bellies become slimmer in their frontal section, allowing a more consistent management of flows towards the bottom, which abandons the false bottom seen in 2022. Also, by virtue of a modified location of the radiators, which are now inclined, therefore no longer in a horizontal position, from what can be deducted from the structure of the sides themselves. In fact, these descend towards the rear section, putting into practice a different characteristic in this area compared to the one used last year, with the aim of accompanying the airflow from this area towards the rear more efficiently. Now, the rear view mirrors appear larger due to the regulatory requirements and again have long horizontal support, with a support that combines with 2 vertical flaps that channel the flows outwards in the area of the single-seater. Now, the area that covers the power unit and the system intended for its operation up to the transmission is certainly striking. In fact, the Alfa Romeo C43 has a completely revised conformation in this area compared to what has been seen on board the previous C42. In fact, the passenger compartment area seems to extend toward the rear with an engine hood that has an elongated area at the bottom that continues up to the rear section, similar to what was seen on the Red Bull RB18 during the second half of the 2022 season, where this same conformation at the rear end ends with a large opening useful for evacuating flows of hot air coming from the power unit and from the radiator units installed under the carbon fiber roof. You can then notice a small drift and open vents both on the bellies and on the extension of the engine hood. Now, if the mouths of the venturi channels are still in a decidedly standard configuration, with the actual ones that will only be seen in Bahrain, the use of 9 fins at the sidewalk ends is certainly striking. These vortex generators precisely have the function of generating the pneumatic skirt by supplying greater energy to the flow of air passing through this area before reaching the area of the rear wheels, where the sidewalk is once again devoid of these elements. Now, the images and video of the new C43 are released, allowing us to appreciate a beam wing with a double profile. Very interesting is the fact that the upper profile has a double curvature, which should guarantee greater results in terms of aerodynamic efficiency. Supporting the rear wing, currently the same seen last year, is still a double pylon. And looking ahead, the wing used on the Alfa Romeo C43 of the presentation is still the same modified one we had already seen at the end of the season. The design of the nose that starts from the second wing profile also the same. Now, as already done last year on the C42, the Alfa Romeo C43 also keeps the technical conformation of the suspension system intact on both axles. At the front, there is in fact the classic push rod layout, with the strut appearing to be placed in a more advanced position than in the past, using a different angle for anchoring to the body in case of the two overlapping triangles. Now, at the same time, the steering rod is aligned with a lower triangle, creating an aerodynamic blow to this area. Same thing at the rear, where the use of a dedicated transmission system once again allows the use of a push rod layout with the kinematic mechanisms mounted higher up, keeping the cleanliness intact in the venturi channel area. Now, with the reduction of the radiating masses suggested by the prancing horse technicians, the Alfa Romeo C43 can count on an interesting and further reduction in terms of weight. And as you can recall, that last year's C42 was the only single-seater at the weight limit. This year, the new C43 will use ballast to reach the minimum regulatory weight of 798 kilograms. But at the end of the season, Alfa Romeo and Sauber will separate, with the effective entry of Audi Sport in the circus starting from 2026. So with that said, what do you guys think about the breakdown of Alfa Romeo's new C43 Formula One racer? Drop those comments about the design and the livery down below, and how do you think Alfa Romeo will do this year? Let me know down in the comments below. Now, if you guys did enjoy the video today, make sure you give it a big thumbs up. Giving the video a like will help get it up in the rankings. More people can see it, and we'll have a bigger discussion on the new Alfa Romeo C43 F1 race car. And with that said, if you guys want to help further support the channel, always check the links down in the description below, where I have a one-time link donation for my PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, and Patreon, just in case you guys want to donate an extra $1 or $2 to the channel. Appreciate that extra love and support, guys. Thank you so much. Now, make sure you guys check out the Ron's Rise merch and my social media links down in the description below, and subscribe to the channel, but click the notification bell so you don't miss one video. And with that said, you guys be blessed, have a great day, and we will talk to you guys in the next Ron's Rise video. Peace.